to another Mishmash Monday. My name's Dawn, I'm the Reclusive Crafter. Today I'm having a rummage. I've got this huge box of bits and I thought I would have a rummage through and try and use some of this up. I have pulled out already a few bits and pieces which I would like to try and use up. So I've got lots of strips like this that have been cut off from 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. And as you can see, there's quite a number of bits here that I've got, pieces like this, very pretty little pieces which are just sat in that box, not doing a great deal. So I thought we would make use of some of that today. And what I have done, I have planned a few bits to try and speed things up so that you're not watching me sitting here not doing a great deal. And I thought, dare I mention this word? I thought I would start thinking about Christmas. Now you may say, my goodness me, Christmas in March, yeah. For those of you that don't know, I retired at Christmas and I've taken early retirement, and you know, like everybody, there are budgets to work to, and I always like to put a little something away each month, just for like little stocking fillers and things like that. So my thought process was, I want to make some little stocking fillers for the grandkids, and I want to do some little notebooks. So I had these, as I've said, I had these little 12 by 12, they were 12 by 12s. They are now 12 by 4s. And I thought they would just make nice little notebooks, just for the kids to scribble in or to make notes in at school or whatever, or even just for your handbag, really. They're quite a nice size, aren't they? I've put a little gusset in, so I've just scored them at I've scored them at 5 7/8 ish either side, just to make that little gusset there. And my plan is to put some paper inside, decorate the top of them, job done. So that's what I'm doing today. So not a lot planned, really, just a little bit. And I have pulled out some bits and pieces I would like to decorate with. Now, the little designs I'm using are from the Maremi books, and it is this one here. I'm just going to check we are recording, and we are. That's lovely. So I'm using the Autumn Stories, which I thought, if these are going to be like little stocking fillers for Christmas, this is more in keeping with kind of around the Christmas time. For those of you that really don't want to be thinking about Christmas now, I'm really sorry I'm mentioning this right now, but yeah, it'll make a nice change actually for me to be organised. So I think what I will do first off is to put in the little pages. So the pages, I don't want to get these mixed up because I've kind of worked out what's going to go in where. I say I've only made a start on putting things together. So these actually, so as you can see here, the total depth of this is 5 7/8. In centimetres, it's 15 centimetres. So I don't want the page to be as long as that. So I reckon probably about 5.5 inches, which would be 14 centimetres. And about 3.5 inches wide would do the job. So I'm going to cut some pages up, and I've pulled out from my stash some of these. I've had these in my stash for a long time. They're just kind of buff coloured paper, but I thought they would make nice little inserts for these little notepads. Just trying to think the best way around to do it. Probably that way around, actually. I might get, I don't know what the depth of them is. What is the depth of them? So they are 11 3/4. 11 3/4. So, you know, that might just be a little bit too long to get 4 lots out of one page. I wonder what's the width of them? 8 1/4, and I said 3.5, didn't I? No, I will get 4 lots out of them, but I'll just have a little bit of waste from them, but that's no great shakes. So I'm going to cut a few at a time just to speed things up. Yeah, and we'll see where we go. So I'm going to cut these at 3.5 wide. So how are we all doing today? It's Monday. It's the start of the week. Did you all have a good weekend? So I'm actually recording this on Saturday. I'm a bit behind myself, to be honest with you. I've normally done Monday's video before now, but I've just had I'm trying to get my my steampunk journal finished, and I've been working on that kind of behind the scenes, and it's taken up quite a bit of my time, and consequently I kept thinking, I'll do my video tomorrow, I'll do my video tomorrow, I'll do my video tomorrow, and now I haven't done it, so I need to get it done. So yeah, so I'm doing this because my son is taking me out tomorrow. We are going to IKEA. That's exciting times, isn't it? I want to have a look. I do love having a look around IKEA. I think it's quite a nice little shop, and it's a nice day out with my boy, so that'll be nice. Looking forward to that. So I'm just cutting these 5.5 inches long. They fit very nicely in there, don't they? That's lovely. So did I actually show you how they fit in there? So let's get them. I'm not going to get a staple through them, am I? That's going to be way too thick to get a staple through. Although, I might have a plan. Okay, so they fit in there very nicely. So that's a good fit. Alrighty. And what my intention is, I'm not going to lie, I hadn't planned on the notepad being quite that thick, but with the gusset I've put in there, I need to make sure it's a reasonable chunk, because otherwise it will just look glossed in there, which isn't great, is it? And then I have got this, which I'm going to cut to size. It is currently 1 3/4 inches, and I just want it to be the same width as this. And I was going to encompass it like so for the top. So that's my plan. So I want those to be 3.5 as well. So let me just cut that one down as well. That's that one. Okay, and I think what I will do, if I can manage it, I'm going to get my big old crocodilius out. This little beastie. Okay, and I'm going to put a couple of holes in here. Right, let me work out how best to position these. Pencil, there we go. I knew I had one here somewhere. I've got no idea where my little ruler is, so I'll use my good old chunky one for now. I'm sure my little one is sitting on my desk somewhere, but for the life of me I can't see it. And then I want to do the holes about a centimetre in. I want 2 holes. Three and a half, so 2 holes. So if I did one about the 1 inch mark there, and then another one about the 1 inch mark. Get it lined up properly. Do one about there. Okay. So that's where I'm going to put the holes. This is going to be a bit of a drum roll job. Let me just check we're in place. So that's that one. And I'm going to pop this one in too. And that's that one. So now I've got some lovely little holes there to be able to tie them together. Now, the question begs, what am I going to tie them with? And I have, oh, actually, I could... Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm going to put holes in that as well. Okay, so I'm going to fold this just straight down the middle. Just going to crease that down a little bit. There we go. And now I'm going to put holes in that. I should have done them all together, really. That was a bit silly. I didn't forward think about this. I might be forward planning, but I didn't forward think. So I want that to go on there. That to go on there like that. This is the prototype, guys. The next one will be so much easier. Okay, so I want that to go on there. In actual fact, I don't actually need that to go all the way around, because if I am putting some little thread through that, it doesn't need to go on the back, because I'm not actually holding it together with this. This is just for decoration. So I can do 2 out of that, which is a bargain, isn't it? Ha ha! Ha ha ha! Right then. And then if I pop that on there, now I can mark my holes, so I can get them in pretty much the same place, can't I? So that's good. Now what I'm going to do with the next ones is I'll stick that on first, and then obviously it will be in the right place and the holes will all be together, which will be lovely. Right then, let me make the holes in this one. So I want one there. Hopefully these are going to line up. And one there. Get out. Let's see how we've done, shall we? Oh, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta! Marvellous. Okay, I'm just going to stick that on now, just to give it a pretty little finish on the actual pad itself. And in fact, I just had another idea. I'm just going to take some of those out, because the twine I'm going to use is going to be, maybe not that many, it's going to be a little bit thicker, so I'll need a little bit of space in the actual paddy bit itself. So let me line these up. I only need to line it up with the top one. Okay, there we go. So that's very pretty. And then we put the top on our glue, like so. And I have some twine. And pop some twine through and tie a little bow. How jolly marvellous is that? My original thought was I was going to just staple these together, but actually I think this is a much nicer idea. and uses up some twine, because this was on some Christmas bits and pieces from this year, or from last year. It's last year now, isn't it? So I'm getting to use up some little bits from that as well. So that's all very lovely, isn't it? Just do a little bow. My bow making is shocking, by the way, but yeah, we won't write home about it. There we go. Okay, is that tight enough? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Just tighten that little bit up a bit. Don't want it quite as big as that, do we? Let me see if I can. Shocking. There we go. I'm just going to trim that off just a tad. That's that. And then I'm going to stick that in there. That's the plan, Stanley. So just this top piece of paper here, just stick it down. Hold it all in place. Put a goodly amount of glue on there. Want to butt it up to there and centralise it. Hold it down for a minute just while it takes. There we go, that's lovely. Okay, and I think in true form, let me just pop the pin in there. Just going to round these edges a little bit. When I say edges, of course I mean corners. There we go. That's lovely, isn't it? Right then, and then all I'm going to do is just pop a little bit of decoration on. So my plan was want that little girly on there. She's lovely, isn't she? So pretty. And I think I want that along there, because that's not quite long enough. So just want to trim this up a little bit, and then that can just sit across the bottom there, which will be very nice. What I do want to do is to put a little bit of ink. And I'm going to be using, because obviously these are fall colours, I want to use the Vintage Photo. Just going to go around the edge just to give it a little bit of definition. There we go. So, for those of you that are in the UK, we've had a couple of beautiful, really beautiful spring-like days. Temperatures have been gorgeous. And now today, it's absolutely flipping freezing again. So we've gone from 17 degrees yesterday to 5 degrees today. What is that all about? Just want to add a little bit of coloration on here too, just to let it blend in. I just want to knock back that white a little bit. There we go. That's smashing. Yeah, it's blooming freezing again. I don't know what's going on. The world has gone mad, I tell you. Truly mad. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm probably out of shot again. I'm terrible for doing that, aren't I? Just going to scribble a little bit of glue on here. I am using the art glitter glue because I do find that some of these embossed papers, the glue stick doesn't like them for some reason. Okay, I want to pop that there. That's nice. Just make sure that it's not going over too much because I don't want to have to do a lot of trimming. I've just gone over there just slightly more than I wanted to, and I can't move it now. Let's just see if I can trim that without making a complete hash of it. There we go. Okay. I think that will do nicely. Just need to clip that little bit there. There we go. Okay, that's that piece on. And then this little beauty, I want her to go on there. But before I put her on, I want to put the wording, because I just want her to be standing on the wording. I think it will look quite nice. I'm going to glue this all the way across, and then I shall trim it off when I get it on, because otherwise, knowing me, I'll end up trimming it first and it'll be completely the wrong size, and we don't want that, do we? Okay, I want that about there, I reckon. Stuck to my finger. Let's pull that down a little bit. Okay. Just going to hold that tight and just wipe that a second. I'm trying not to get mucky hands on the white page. There we go. Righty-ho. Just going to pop that on there for a second, just while I trim up. That's that one. Get offed. And oh, I feel a little bit cack-handed doing this. Moment. There we go. There we go. Got there in the end. Okay, so that's on nicely. And then Girly is just going to stand on there. Perfect. Okay. We're going to pop her down too. Yeah, so what was I saying? I was saying about going to IKEA. So I'm off to IKEA tomorrow. I keep talking about wanting a new desk. I thought I'd have a look and see what they've got. Might treat myself to a new desk, which would be nice. It would be nice to be sitting at a desk where nothing's falling down the back of it all the time. This one drives me bonkers. Pop her on there. Where's me? Just get my little cloth, just dab that down. And there we go. So that's one little stocking filler for the advent calendar. because what I do is, or what I did last year was I made the girls an advent calendar, and I put like little gifts and things into each day. They were like little boxes, and I put gifts into each day. So there's one done. That's cute, isn't it? I'm really pleased with that, actually. Love that design. I think it's beautiful. And that's that one. So that's made use of a few bits and pieces that never get used. And that's sitting in there very nicely. Little notepad. One down. So let's cut some more bits and pieces up. The next one shouldn't take so long because that was kind of a prototype, and I'm sort of there in what I'm doing with it now, which is nice. Right, I've got this many for here. Do I need a few more? I don't think I've done all the gussets the same size, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think that could do with a few more. So, and I'm pretty sure. Where's me? Oh, it's there, silly me. I'm pretty sure these are all the same width. They are, so 3.5. So I want to go 3.5 again. So 3.5. My blade had fallen out. Wondered where it had gone. Got bored and ran off. Doop. More little strips there. And then 5.5 deep. 1 and 2. That's that done. And that's the right size, so I don't need to mess about with that. Okay. Now then, hopefully that should be enough for that one. Allowing for the little bit of twine as well. Good. Okay, let's stick this on. Just pop it on the top one. Like so. Okay, and I wish I could see where my little ruler is. I'm a little bit lost without it, to be fair. I don't know what I've done with that. Oh, I see it. I'd actually put it away. Who knew? That's too. Why is that short? That shouldn't be like that. You pop those over there out of the way. Okay. So I wanted an inch in, which is there. Can I see that? I cannot. And an inch in on this side, which is there. Okay, and hopefully these are going to marry up with the ones that have already got holes in, because if that happens, that would be marvellous, wouldn't it? Let's see if I can do it with the handheld. There we go. That felt like it went through the same hole. And 2. Okay, a little bit of twine. You can see that it was off one of the Christmas presents. I haven't even taken it off its tag. It's like, don't throw that away, I can use it. Oh, maybe that's why I didn't take it off its tag, because I couldn't get it undone. Oh, there we go. I think I'm there. Come along. There we are. Oh, no, it's knotted itself up again. It's a little bit. There we go. Okay. Looky gooky. Alrighty, we'll put a little bit of twine through there. Like so. I don't really need that much, do I? So I think probably that will do. A bit of twine through there. And now we will make another bow. I really am quite rubbish at doing bows. Come on. There we go. Pull it nice and tight-ish. Get out the way. You know, when I watch people do bows, they make it look so easy. I'm just so cack-handed, honestly. It's a little bit sad, really. I did learn to tie my shoelaces when I was quite young, honestly. Come on, please go through. There we go. Yay! Gosh, that was almost not painful, wasn't it? There we are. Little old bow. There, I don't even need to trim that one off, do I? Marvellous. Oh dear, poor me. There we go. A little bit of glue on there. Pop it into position. I should have rounded those corners again before I did this, shouldn't I? But hey ho, it doesn't matter. We can still do it. There we go. Just press that into place. Lovely. Just while that's just drying, pop that back on just for a minute. I do love that art glitter glue, but you know, having to keep putting the top on every 2 seconds can be a bit of a pain sometimes. But if you don't, it will just dry out almost instantly. So you're forever unblocking your nozzle. There we go. Nice little trimmed edges there. And then on this one, we've got this little girlie. She's very cute too, isn't she? So I'm going to pop that one on there. And then she is going to sit there. But, I say but, I want to just trim that round a little bit because I don't want that all sticking out the other side of her. So I'm going to trim that round, and I'm going to just trim a fraction off the top of this. Like so. Lovely. Now then, a little bit of ink. Not that you're going to see probably all of this bit, but the bit that you can see, I'll just make sure that there's a little bit of ink on there. You're not going to see that bottom bit because that's going to be under wording. There we go. Let's pop that piece on for the backing. And these bits that I'm using for the backing, these are just cut off bits from when I was cutting out the little images. So again, it's just making use of what you've got, really. And I have to be honest, the books were gifted to me. I say gifted, they were actually Christmas gifts. I was asked what I wanted for Christmas by my family, and these were actually on my Christmas list. So I was very pleased to have got them because they are just so lovely. And yeah, if you go onto Maremi's site, actually, she does a lot of mixed media tutorials as well. I say tutorials, she kind of shows you what she's doing, and she's very talented, very talented. Okay, let me pop a little bit of ink around this little girlie. Yeah, Gail Agostinelli uses a lot of her designs as well in her creations, and they're lovely too. So if you want some ideas, you know, have a look through YouTube, because if you're journaling or if you're new to journaling at all, the ideas that you can pick up are just phenomenal. So many talented people out there. Okay, I don't want to clip her wings, so I'm going to bring her into about there. And again, I want her to sit. Now then, that's going to have to be trimmed up as well, because otherwise we're going to be in a position where she's covering up the wording with her feet, and I don't want to put it over her feet. So we'll take that little bit off there. And how does that look? So if I put that there, oh, just going to get away with that, I think. Lovely jubbly. That's good. Yeah, I hope I haven't turned too many of you off with mentioning the word Christmas. I know it's early days, but you can never be too prepared in life, can you? Actually, I'm going to move that across to there. There we go. Okay, happy with that. And like I say, these are only just little stocking fillers, I suppose you would call them. I mean, I don't even think they're classified as stocking fillers, to be honest with you. I've just nicked that there, but I don't think it matters too much. In fact, I suppose I could trim that whole thing, couldn't I, before I... Let me just trim that to make it look a little bit neater. I just nicked it, so I just want to take that off just to make sure that it doesn't look untidy. I don't want it to look untidy. then. Okay, just finish off this little bit here. I just want a bit askew there. We don't want to be going askew, do we? Hold it a bit tighter if I can. No, I'm going to have to do that with some scissors, I think. There we go. Now let's see if I can re-round that corner. Do round that one maybe. Yeah, that one will do. There we go. It's nice enough for a little stocking filler. There we are. Okay, now let's put her on. Now we've stopped messing about. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Now then, I don't want to nick her wing, so I think we're going to go about there with her. I will need to just trim her little hair foliage. There we go. There. That's number 2 done. Gorgeous, isn't it? That's so lovely. And then when you open it up, look, you've got the lovely little bit of note paper in there. So that's the second one done. I'll just do one more and then we will call it a day for today. Now this one's slightly different. I have used a different paper style and it is a slightly different size. So this one is 5.5, just over 5.5. It's 5 6/8 ish in depth, whereas this one was, oh, in actual fact they are the same size. Well, I stand corrected. I thought this one was smaller. Oh, well, that's okay then. So we can do another little bit of trimming, and I will just move her up out of the way for now. So I think these were already cut at 3.5, weren't they? Yes, they were. So I shall just trim these ones down and I'll cut another few. So we want 5.5. Was it 5.5? Pretty sure it was. Yeah, 5.5. Ah, hang on. Maybe it is a bit smaller. It is a little bit smaller. So I'm actually going to go 5 and... yeah, I think I'm going to go 5.25. I thought it was smaller. I think I just measured up to that line. I did. Yeah, I measured up to that line. So it is marginally smaller. So these were actually a little bit shorter, weren't they? Those were 5. I shall do them at 5 and then I can use those little pieces that are already cut off. So that will work fine and dandy. So we'll have those. And we shall have these ones. They will make some beautiful labels. They're a lovely size for labels. Okay, how many have we got there? I think that's probably enough. Yep, because that gusset isn't as wide. Okay, and then for this one, I had a strip of this, which is lovely, isn't it? And I'm going to have to apologise again because I cannot remember for the life of me where this came from. I can't remember if it was actually some scrapbook paper. It could have even been Rach and Bella. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I do apologise. But I've also got this off strip as well, and I was going to use that for the border on it as well. So I'm going to cut that to size. And I quite like the fact that it's got a jagged edge. Adds a little bit more interest. There we go. Okay, I'm going to glue that on there. And in actual fact, although I've chosen the autumn design, this one, because of the colours of it, you could almost have it for spring, couldn't you? Or summer, for that matter. So for those of you that were absolutely appalled when I mentioned Christmas, you can use this one in summer if you wanted to. Okay, and then we're going to measure in an inch. So I want a hole about there and a hole about there ish. Yep, that'll do. It'll dooby dooby doo. Right, I'm getting all kerfuddled with all my bits. Right then, let's get those married up. On that, and one come out. Just have to look, see where that hole is. I think it's about there. Well, that's where it's going. Anyhow, socks. There we go. That's that one done. Don't put the lid on your glue, for goodness sake. And then, what did I do with my little string? It's here, I found it. This is called baker's twine, in case you're not sure. And then we're going to pop this one in. Oh, we're going to do another little bow. That'll be a joy to behold, won't it? Another little bow. Right, I don't want that too long. So, pull that through just a little bit more. Need to leave myself enough to make a bow, though. There we go. Right then, that looks lovely actually with the green, doesn't it? I really like that. Okay, here we go again, guys. Don't hold your breath. One. Fiddly-dee, fiddly-doo. Pop it through there. Come on. Yay! Gosh, I'm almost proficient, aren't I? And I think I might get away without having to trim it, possibly. Maybe just a little bit on that one. There we go. Okay, that's my bow done. And I am going to do my corners before I stick it in this time. One and two. Stick it in. Oops, I've glued the wrong bit there. We don't want to stick the pages together, do we? There we go. And then that can go in there. It is a little bit smaller than the others, but I'm good with that. I don't mind. I think it still looks very cute, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, and then with this one, we've got this lovely design here, which I'm not sure I want it quite as wide as that. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I'm going to cut that down a little bit. I don't want that quite so wide. So if I can find my rulers, here we go. I'm going to take that off about there, I reckon. There we go. That's that one. Pop that there. That's perfect. And now pop her on there. That's lovely. Nice. Okay, happy with that. I haven't put my lid on my glue. I'm going to chance it. I'm probably going to regret it. Oh, it's worth living dangerously occasionally, isn't it? There we, oh, look at that, and it works. Yay. We love it when a plan works. Scribbledy, 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 scribbledy. There we go. Okay, let's pop that on there. That's marvellous. Just, there's me. I feel like my fingers are getting really sticky now. Lovely, that fits nicely. Pop a little bit of ink round little Ian, little girly. Look at her, how cute is she? Such a pretty little thing. Okay, that'll do for her. And then I thought I would put this little morning walk on here. So again, I'm going to just make sure that that's trimmed nicely on there. It's almost perfect, but not quite. Oh, I missed that bit entirely. Let's try that one again. There we go, that got it. And then same down here. Lovely, just a tiny little slither off. And just snip that there. Snip that there. And this one I'm going to colour a little bit. I didn't colour the second one. I'm okay with that. Just going to knock the white back a little bit on this one. There we go. Just the tiniest little bit. And then we're going to glue that one down. And trim up. Trim up in aisle 3. That's that one. Just move that if I can. That one. Marvellous. And I just want to bring her now down to there. That looks lovely. Happy with that. And I've got 3 little notebooks all ready to be stashed away for either personal use or, as I say, some little advent kit gifts or stocking fillers, which are just awesome. There we go. Pop that on there. Don't want it quite so far over. That's it. That'll do nicely. There we go. Right then, and that is my 3 little notebooks all done. Right then, so next video will be No Waste Wednesday. It might be No Waste Wednesday, or it might be the walkthrough of my steampunk journal. We're going to have to see how I get on between now and then. So, what have we got up to today? Today I have used a few more bits and pieces out of my stash, and we have made 3 little notebooks. They're cute, and when you open them up, you've got your paper inside. There we go. That's a nice thick one. That's a good one. And then there's this one here as well. So there we go. That's my 3 little notebooks. Advent fillers or stocking fillers or just handy little notebooks for your handbags. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you all again on Wednesday for No Waste Wednesday. And it'll be a surprise as to whether or not it's No Waste Wednesday or Steampunk Journal walkthrough. Who knows? Catch you later. Bye.